So next point is the freezing point depression and concentration of solute. Now we are having that depression in freezing point is given by the delta TF, which is directly proportional to the molarity, where M is the molarity of solution. Now instead of proportional sign, we are going to write equal sign. Then we are getting delta TF equal to KF into M, where KF is a proportionality constant, or it is also called as the freezing point depression constant, or it is also known as a cryoscopic constant. Now, if we are considering the molarity is equal to 1, that is a 1 molar solution if we have taken, then we are getting delta TF equal to KF, that is a depression in freezing point is equal to the cryoscopic constant KF. So, here is the definition for the cryoscopic constant, that is nothing but it is the depression in freezing point by 1 molar solution of non-volatile solute. So here the KF is the cryoscopic constant. Then we are deriving this equation delta TF equal to KF into M. Deriving this equation for KF, we are getting KF equal to delta TF upon M. So delta TF is nothing but the depression in a freezing point. It is given in a Kelvin or degree Celsius upon molarity. Molarity is given in a mole per kilogram. We are getting the unit for KF, that is the cryoscopic constant, is equal to Kelvin kilogram per mole or degree Celsius kilogram per mole. Okay. So the next one is the molar mass of solute from freezing point depression. How we are going to calculate the molar mass of solute from freezing point depression? So we are having that relation in between delta TF equal to KF into M. So we are going to take W1 gram of solute. So weight of solute is W1 gram, which is dissolving in a W1 gram of solvent, and M1 and M2. These are the molar masses. So molar mass of solvent, that is the M1, and M2 is the molar mass of solute respectively. Then moles of solute. We know the formula that moles of solute is given as a weight of solute upon molar mass of solute. So moles of solute is equal to W2 upon M2, and weight of solvent, here we taken in a gram, so converted into the kilogram, we are getting weight of solvent is equal to W1 upon 1000 into kilogram. Now substituting this equation values in equation, first we are getting delta TF equal to KF. Instead of molarity, we are getting that moles of solute. So molarity is nothing but the M is equal to moles of solute upon mass of solvent in kilogram. Okay. So moles of solute is given by W2 upon M2 mole, and mass of solvent or weight of solvent is given as a W1 upon 1000 kilogram. So delta TF is equal to KF. So simplifying equation, W2 into 1000 upon W1 into M2, and derive this equation for the molar mass of non-volatile solute. We are getting the equation, that is a M2 equal to 1000 into W2 into KF upon delta TF into W1. Thus, with the help of delta TF, that is a depression in freezing point, we are calculating the molar mass of solute. So the next property of positive property means the osmotic pressure. That osmotic pressure is depends on the number of solute particles. That is, so that it is the correlative property which is associated with the vapor pressure lowering, and it is very useful for determination of molar masses of dissolved solute. That solute which are prepared in a smaller proportion. For the determination of this type of solute, the osmotic pressure is very useful. So to know about the osmotic pressure, you must know about the semi-permeable membrane, because through this semi-permeable membrane, the osmosis takes place. So what is the semi-permeable membrane? That membrane which selectively allows solvent molecule and not the solute or the ions. So the best example for this is a film of cellophane, or the animal bladder, or the copper ferrocyanide is also the example for the semi-permeable membrane, which allows only solvent molecules to pass through it. So the next point is the osmosis. So what is meant by osmosis? The definition for the osmosis is nothing but the spontaneous flow of solvent molecules into the solution. See, the solvent molecules are passing, not the solvent molecules from the solution. Pure solvent molecules are passing into the solution, or if you are having two concentrated solution, that is one with a lower concentration and one is with a higher concentration, then the flow of solvent molecules from more dilute solution to more concentrated solution through semi-permeable membrane. Now if you are going to take the example for the osmosis, we are having the resin which is putting in a container. If you kept this resin for some time or 2-3 hours, then what we see that resins are swallowing, means that solvent molecules are passing into that resin and swelling is there. So there is the process of osmosis in which that solvent molecules are passing into the resins through the semi-permeable membrane. So that layer of that resin is acts as a semi-permeable membrane. So there is one more diagram is there. Here we can see the solvent molecules, it's in one container. The solution is in a one container, and these two containers are joined with the semi-permeable membrane. That SPM is nothing but the semi-permeable membrane. Now here we can see that the solvent molecules from the first container is passing through the semi-permeable membrane, because semi-permeable membrane having that pores which only allow the solvent molecules. So these molecules from the solvent are passing towards the solution container, or we can say that there is a net flow of solvent from lower concentrated solution to the higher concentration solution. Means here whenever that osmosis takes place, the concentration or the solvent molecules from the lower concentrated solution becomes less, and the solvent molecules into the higher concentrated solution becomes more. So it decreases the concentration of the another solution. Okay, now we are going to see the next point, that is osmotic pressure. So how that osmotic pressure is created is given by the experiment. Now this is a container which contains pure water, in which this is the apparatus which is called as a chisel funnel, which containing the sugar solution, and the mouth of that chisel funnel is closed with the semi-permeable membrane, and that chisel funnel is kept in this container in the inverted position. Okay, this is the arrangement for the experiment. Now here we can see that liquid, that is a pure solvent, and this is the sugar solution in the chisel funnel. Now that osmosis takes place. Osmosis takes place means that solvent molecules from the water goes into the chisel funnel through SP. Okay. So that solvent from pure solvent pass through SP1 into the solution, and it causes liquid rises in the tube. So here there is an increase in the liquid column or liquid rises in the tube. Now this liquid column, this liquid column in the tube creates hydrostatic pressure, and that pushes that solvent back into the solution through the SPM, that is a semi-permeable membrane. Now that column of liquid continues to rise, and at one stage it stops. That column of liquid in the tube continuously rising, and at one stage or eventually it stops rising, and at this stage the hydrostatic pressure, whatever hydrostatic pressure is from there, is forces solvent to come back or throw back through SPM into the container. Now here that liquid solvent molecules try to go into the liquid column, and the due to hydrostatic pressure which is developed into the liquid column, that solvent molecules are thrown back or go back or pushes back into the container. Here the forward rate of forward reaction and rate of reverse reaction at one stage there is a formation of an equilibrium, and then that height of column in the tube, this one, that height of column in the tube remains same or remains constant. It shows that there is a formation or there is a hydrostatic pressure is developed and which stop osmosis. That osmosis means solvent molecules to pass through the SPM into the solution. Here that hydrostatic pressure is formed. Okay. Then hydrostatic pressure. What is the definition for that? Osmotic pressure. That osmotic pressure, or it is a simply called as a hydrostatic osmotic pressure, or it is a hydrostatic pressure, is given by pi. So the hydrostatic pressure that stops osmosis. Stops osmosis means the passing of solvent molecules into the solution. It is stopped due to hydrostatic pressure. It's called as an osmotic pressure. Okay. So whatever pressure is formed there, that is known as the hydrostatic pressure, and due to hydrostatic pressure that osmosis process is stopped. So it is called as the osmotic pressure of the solution, which is given as a pi. Now that pi is equal to h rho into g, that where h is the height of the column, rho is the density of the solution, and g is the acceleration due to gravity. Thank you. Here we are going to start the types of solution which is based on the osmotic pressure. The first one is the isotonic solution, the second one is the hypertonic solution, and the third one is the hypotonic solution. So here in the isotonic solution we are comparing two liquids or two solutions. It is the definition of isotonic solution is given as two or more solutions with same osmotic pressure. So pi value is same, that is the osmotic pressure is same for two solutions. Then that solutions are called or said to be isotonic with G. The second one is a hypotonic solution, a solution with a higher osmotic pressure than the other. We are comparing two solutions. So one of the solution is with a higher osmotic pressure, then that solution is said to be hypertonic with that solution. And hypotonic solution, again here what we are saying that we are comparing two solutions. So the solution with a lower osmotic pressure is said to be hypotonic with that solution. So for example, we are going to take 0.1 molar of urea solution and 0.05 molar of sucrose solution. Then when we are going to compare these two, the 0.1 molar urea solution is hypertonic over the 0.05 molar of solution of sucrose solution, or the 0.05 molar sucrose solution is hypotonic to that of 0.1 molar urea solution. Okay. So these three types are for the osmotic pressure, depends on the osmotic pressure. So there is one more relation between the osmotic pressure and the concentration of solution. So if we are going to consider for very direct solutions, then that osmotic pressure given as a M2RP upon P. Suppose we are giving this equation as equation number 1. Last day we are having the chapter states of matter, in which we are having that one more relation, that is P equal to N2RP upon V, or PV equal to N2RP. So it is developed for the osmotic pressure, we are getting pi equal to N2RP upon V. This is equation 1, where pi is the, it is the osmotic pressure of the solution, N2 is the number of moles of solid particles, R is the gas constant, which is same as that in the ideal gas equation, is equal to 0.08206 dm3 atmosphere per Kelvin per mole, and V is the volume of the solution. Now we are having that molarity, that is a concentration of the solution, which is given in terms of molarity. So that molarity is nothing but the number of moles of solute in a volume of solution or in a 1 liter of solution. So that is given as m equal to n2 upon v. So instead of n2 upon v, we are going to write n2 upon v. We are going to write m. So we are getting the equation pi equal to m RT. So we are giving this equation as equation 2. Now this m is nothing but the molarity. So that molarity is dependent of the temperature, and that because that osmotic pressure measurements are made for at a specific constant temperature. Because whenever we are going to see last three properties, that is the first one is the vapor pressure lowering, second is the elevation in the boiling point, and third one is the freezing point depression, in which the colligative property from the elevation in boiling point and the depression in freezing point, that too includes the molality. That molality is nothing but that is temperature independent, and here we are using the term molarity, which is a temperature dependent, and osmotic pressure is used for measurement of the such type of solution which are at a very small scale. Okay. Here we are going to start the new point, that is molar mass of solute from osmotic pressure. Okay. So how we are going to calculate the molar mass from the osmotic pressure? Now we are having the relation of osmotic pressure, that is a pi equal to n2 RT upon V. Suppose we are going to give this equation as a 1. Now for the solute, W2 gram of solute, if we are going to take W2 gram of solute in a milliliter of solution, so that is with the molar mass M2. Then the number of moles, that formula, that is weight of solute upon molar mass of a solute. So number of moles of solute is given by W2 upon M2. So we are going to substitute this equation, this value into this equation first for M2. And we are getting pi equal to W2 RT upon V. So instead of M2 we are writing the W2 upon M2. So this equation for deriving for the M2, that is molar mass, we are getting M2 here, pi here. So M2 is equal to W2 RT upon pi V. So from this osmotic pressure we can calculate the molar mass of that particular solute. Okay. So the next point is nothing but the reverse osmosis. Now we know about osmosis. That osmosis method is the flow of solvent molecules from pure solvent through SPM into the solution. Now this term is a reverse osmosis, means whatever process takes place in osmosis is reverse. So that direction of osmosis is reverse. How it gets reversed? So it reverses by applying larger pressure than the osmotic pressure. So osmotic pressure, what osmotic pressure does? Osmotic pressure only stop the osmosis. Now when we are going to apply the larger pressure than the osmotic pressure, then osmosis process is reverse. So that is known as a reverse osmosis. So here is the definition, that pure solvent flows from solution. Now here see that pure solvent from the solution into the pure solvent through SPM. So for that we are going to take this picture, that is we are going to take figure the fresh water in a container, another container is salt water. They are separated by the SPM, that is semi-permeable membrane. Here we are going to apply the piston, and here is the outlet for that. So here the salt water means if we are going to apply more pressure, that is a pressure larger than the osmotic pressure, then with the help of this piston we are going to apply this pressure. Then the solvent molecules from salt water are passes through SPM into the fresh water, and then if that level is increasing, then that water or that liquid comes out. So this is the called as a reverse osmosis, which is takes place due to with the higher pressure than the osmotic pressure called as reverse osmosis.